Hello everyone, I'm going to go ahead and give you a impression of Adventure Capitalist. I'm Morbid Intent. Let me go ahead and turn on some music here for you. Now this game here is on Steam and it's also on Android devices. It's a very addicting game. It's basically a numbers game. Essentially there's not much else to it. As you can see here, this is considered Earth. Now you start out quite poor at the very beginning. As you can see, I've kind of built myself up just a little bit. Essentially what the game does is you start off with some lemons, and I'm going to go ahead and restart here so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now you start out with just lemons. Essentially you have swag and stats and stuff, like I have nothing showing here, but you get quite a bit as you go along. And I can show you here. As you can see, I just have a little angel dude and some backdrop and stuff. Now, what you do is say you buy one lemon over and over again at the very beginning until you build yourself up to be able to buy more and more and more. As it goes along, you can start buying some upgrades. Now, these upgrades on this left-hand side, you buy them with cash. Essentially everything in this game, I know a lot of games are heavy cash shop nowadays. You can do everything in this game if you have patience. I mean, it takes a couple extra days, of course, by avoiding this gold upgrade. I've never touched it yet, just so you know. But you can do everything at the cash upgrade, and eventually you're in angels. And what angels are, and I'll show you here, are investors. What you do as investors, every single one that you get gives you a 2% bonus, making the game go faster and faster and faster over time. Now essentially, let me go ahead and I'll buy everything, since I can, and you'll get to this point sooner or later. What you do is, see how long it would take to run this all by yourself? You have to sit here clicking forever. They allow you to actually buy managers. Now you can hire them for cash at the beginning here. Once you bought all the managers, you get to a point where you can get cheaper things like oil company 10% cheaper, bank 10% cheaper, and it shows cash per sec. I really don't like the cash per second, only because it kind of doesn't let you see the entire amount that you get. But anyway, go ahead and hire as many as I can get my little grubby hands on. Now what you do is you can buy upgrades, and if you didn't notice, while I was buying managers, I was able to buy one called the Quick Buy Manager. Essentially, he buys everything for you. He lets you be lazy. Usually, at the beginning, before this existed, you have to click every single upgrade and buy them all one at a time. And as you can see, they give ×3 profits for each individual thing. Then you've got money bags that give you ×3 profits for everything. Also, the angel investors, which, as I said, you get 2% for those angels. This actually ups their percentage of how well they give you, so instead of 2% you get 3% and so on. There's some 10% later on and stuff like that. Now the angels actually get a little bit tricky later on because you can start sacrificing them. So yes, you're a bad person, you sacrificed angels. You can get them for pretty much anything, or you can use them, sorry, for pretty much anything. You can sacrifice them for more profit, more angel effectiveness, things like that, and later on you can get rid of them for simple things like even getting 10 extra newspapers. It kind of looks like it would be pointless, but once you get to a certain point where you have, I'll show you, I have 764 quinvigintillion angels, so throwing away a billion angels is kind of a drop in the bucket at that point. Now once you reach certain points, there's unlocks, and like here, if you get everything to 1600 for me right now, it'll give ×2. So say I go ahead and do that real quick. See if it popped up. Profits of all investments doubled. Now, recently they came out with another one that sends you to the moon. And my wife actually still has 3 days before she's allowed to launch to the moon, which is kind of funny. But essentially it elongated the game because the game started to actually get a little stale for me. Let me go ahead and show you that as well. It works exactly like Earth did. And before we go to the moon, there's a currency exchange that popped up that lets you buy megabucks. Now there's not really anything you can do with the megabucks yet, but see here, you can buy them for a certain amount, and of course I've bought all that I'm allowed to buy up to this point until I get to the Vigintillion, I'm sure, or something like that. Now let me go ahead and take you guys to the moon. And like I said, the moon works essentially just like Earth does, where you buy everything to a certain point. Now see here, its speed of investments doubled when I got to ×5, or 5 of everything. On Earth, it would have worked differently, as I would have got ×3 to everything. Now essentially, if you think profits are doubled in speed, so say this 1.34 billion that's going at this speed goes twice as fast now, it's the same as getting a ×2 across the board anyway, so it's essentially the same thing, like I said. Now overall, this game's actually pretty fun. It's very, very, very basic, but for somebody that's good and that loves marketing, business, or just money, you know, numbers, running numbers, things like that, this game's pretty fun. I think I got hooked because it's something that you can walk away from. You don't really have to touch all the time and play. And I like competing with my wife and friends to see how far along in how far along in Angels that they've gotten, and compare our profits and things like that. I forgot to show you what happens on Earth and other places when you get a certain amount of swag. As you can see here, after I bought all this stuff that we were doing here, just buy a couple more things real quick. I should be lazy and just go ahead and do the quick buy like I should. You can do it with Angels as well. But essentially, I've got a mansion, a car, a whole bunch of money just laying around, I wish. Boat, I even own the moon, which was ironic because that came out a couple days later, and this has been in the game for a month or so, or more. But essentially I give this game a 9 out of 10 just because of replayability. It keeps going and keeps going. I mean, I've been playing it for a month and a half, and I'm probably about halfway to 3/4 of the way through the game, and by the time I actually end up finishing the moon, which just came out, I'm sure they're going to launch in that new space here. They're probably going to launch Mars. But anyway, yes, I give it a 9 out of 10, probably, you know, 5 out of 10 because the graphics are bright, but it's not 3D, it's not new age, it's not, you know, anything animated, anything fun like that, no video content, whatever. But then I give it a 8 or 9 out of 10 for playability, just because of how fun it is. Well, there you go. That's this game in a nutshell. Overall, it's a fun, honestly addictive game, and I hope you all enjoy it.